preliminary statements, and I am not sure whether there has been any official announcement or pronouncement as to declare a period of one mourning for these two fallen officers. But if there is none, I think each and every one of us, in our own individual way, can continue to mourn for them until the 7th day of their demise comes by. But this press conference is not about the incident of 12th September. This press conference is not about that incident. This press conference is about our own brothers, our own party colleagues who are in the custody of the security forces, or let me say the police. It is about that. Because the incident of 12th September is being investigated, and I think it will be callous and indeed irresponsible for me to try to make any statement about that. And the only statement that we made, which came out yesterday, was to debunk the falsehoods by some people in government circles. But other than that, we are not saying anything about the incident of the 12th September. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, it is not in dispute that the government in any country has the responsibility of enforcing its laws. It cannot be disputed that whenever a person is suspected to have committed a crime, the police have every authority, every right to actually ask such a person to either report or they themselves would come and escort you to their venue wherever they want to carry out any interrogation, conversation, or question about you. What is, however, disputable and unacceptable is to use that system as a means of oppression, as a means of suppression. And that is why that some months ago, a lady called Mariama Trawale was taken to Banjul police station and was for several days going in and out of the serious crime unit, being interrogated, or in fact, not even being interrogated. Once she was asked questions, and that was all, and she was asked to be going in and out of the police station. What she was allowed to have uttered was in the public domain, was in the hands of the police. They knew what she had said, and they knew that she was reacting to what had been said by somebody else. But the police never effected an arrest. The police did not invite her until a gentleman they call Bakar Jaite, and some call him Bakso, went on the air and said, Adama Barrow, itala mansi anafa malong. Mol be nendirola, imman sona talake arrest. Adama Barrow ni manyang, ni muso ni talon president bi, ni muso ni ba arrest lale. And the following day, the man was arrested. So the police did not act on their own volition. They did not act on their own discretion. they were forced and pushed into it by this gentleman who calls himself an APRC official. 2 days ago, in fact, on the 13th to be precise, Usman Rambo Jatta was also heard on audio castigating Modu Sabali, Sirfo Sonko, and Imam Sonko, and in fact, inferentially tried to link UDP with the event of the 12th. But for me, as I said, we are not dealing with that here, and I will not talk about that. But what is significant about that is, he said, IGP Abdullah Sanyang, for long you've been branded UDP. For long, UDP people do things that are no arrest. This is the time for you. In fact, Mahmoud Sabali, Sirfo Sonko, and Imam Sonko, they should be arrested. In fact, you should arrest them. So he blackmailed the Inspector General of Police. After all, arrest them for what? He said he was disappointed for what Mr. Sabali had written or stated. He said that on Wednesday, and yesterday, Modu Sabali was arrested. Whatever he alluded to was already in the public domain. The police knew about it. The police read it. It was in his Facebook page. So what I'm just trying to say is that, it is people, political opponents of UDP, that are using the police for their own political agenda, for their own political purpose, and then getting them arrest our supporters. The statement that Mr. Sabali was alleged to have made was made on about the 7th of September. This was in Facebook, all over the world, all over. If the police cared, if the police felt that Mr. Sabali had committed an offense, he would have been arrested on the 7th, if not the 7th, at least on the 8th. Wouldn't have been on the prompting of Usman Rambo Jatta. But if they do act on the prompting of the political, if I must say so, the allies of their political masters, if they are acted on their promptings and arrest is effected, what you're complaining about is sin. Is there any need to keep the person over again? Because you keep arrestees in detention to enable you carry out investigations. Now, what Mosabul is alleged to have said is written. There is no further investigation. If that is the crime, you already have the evidence there. What do you have to hold him for? If you have a case, you take him to court. If what he said violates or infringes any of the provisions of the criminal code, you do not need any further investigations. Because all that was saying that the PIU brutalizes the opposition, oppresses them. In fact, yesterday it happened at Kairaba, when some of our supporters went there to see Mr. Sabali. A group of paramilitary officers or the PRP, the police intervention unit personnel came, and instead of the civil police that they should be, they were approaching and talking to people in a way that we expect from Gambians, and started harassing them, beating them. And in fact, there was a lady, Ajabinta Jabi, she was malhandled. People were being beaten in their cars. People running to enter their cars so that they could drive out. But that is was absolute evidence of how the PIU was brutalizing opposition people here. But if you say that, as I have done so, I have now said that they do so, what is the crime? What provisions of the law have been offended? Have you infringed? But what you have seen is very reminiscent of the Jammeh era. You know, the security, in fact, in the Jammeh era, UDP's whole problem, our entire engagement, we are never with the APRs as a party or the APRs militant. It was between UDP and the security. And now, the same thing is happening between UDP and the security. And I had earlier on, some time ago, said, look, we expect the security forces of this country to really treat us as Gambians, that we believe that they are the people that we should be working with, and they are the people that we will be working with when we come into government. So our relationship should be harmonious. We shouldn't, in our own quest to really get to political power, the security should not really be an obstacle to us. They should be friendly to us, just as they are friendly to any other thing. But that does not mean that if any UDP supporter or any UDP member commits a crime, he should not really be arrested. What we say is that you are arrested and be treated according to the procedures laid down by the law. What further evidence do the security want in respect of those Facebook postings by Mr. Sabali? What offense has he committed? But as I said, these are things reminiscent of the Jammeh era. Since the 70s was in the circulating in the social media, or all those who are friends from Sabali have seen them. Why do you wait until Friday evening and ask Mr. Sabali to go to the police? These were the sort of things that were happening in Jammeh's time. And of course, Bayo Sonko was also arrested, taken to Kairaba, separated from Sabali. These were the things that were happening in Jammeh's era. So all those things that were happening in Jammeh's era, we are having them now. And that is because those people who were at the helm, or at least in senior positions in the security in Jammeh's era, are the people who are still at the heads of this security institution. They know nothing other than what used to happen in Jammeh's era. They know of no other procedure. Those ones who are law-abiding, they are stigmatized as opposition because they want to see that things are done according to law. They taint them and say you are opposition. And of course, in the Gambia today, when anybody is branded as opposition, it means it's UDP, no other party. If they want to refer to another party, they will say the name straight away. But it's only UDP that is taking us the opposition in this country, and we are glad and happy about that. Now, what we are saying is that the arrest of Modi Sabali was not really done in order to enforce any provision of the criminal law. It was not an arrest done in good faith. It was an arrest actuated by malice. It was an arrest solely intended to provoke Mr. Sabali. And if you remember, some time ago, when Mr. Sabali was arrested, it coincided with another incident of great national concern to everyone. That was when it was announced that there are people who wanted to stage a coup. That arrest was at the same time. Now again, you have this tragic incident taking place in the Gambia, arresting him. That is intended to provoke some elements of the society, but we will never be provoked. We will never be provoked. We'll show you that what you are planning or what you really you look into doing, UDP will not fall in for it. But we will say this, that when Mr. Sabali said that the PIU under Patajallo is used to brutalize, we have seen the evidence of it. At least we have seen the evidence of the PIU brutalizing people. We have Fatou Mbodj, who was brutalized by the PIU. So the PIU has in fact established bad name for itself. Has established bad name for itself in the country. And I think it is time that the PIU cleanses itself. The PIU takes itself to the laundry and makes itself clean by building a reputation that is, that the Gambian people, will feel that we are satisfied that these are people who deserve to be in our uniform. These are people who do not brutalize our citizens. They have a burden to do that. And certainly, I challenge the leadership of not only the PIU, but even the Gambia Police Force, because the PIU is part of the Gambia Police Force, that you should be engaging in reputational building rather than really doing things that will undermine your reputation, that will do things that will continue to taint you. There's nothing that anybody can conclude other than this being a politically motivated arrest. An arrest intended to silence Maud Sabali. But of course, Maud Sabali is like several leaders in the UDP. You can incarcerate us, but you cannot stop us talking. Because the ideas that we stand for, even if you incarcerate us, those ideas continue to float in the streets. And the people will talk. We know that these 72 hours that the law Constitution talks of is abused. And we also know, or let me say, I know, as a matter of fact, that if you rely on a legal position to do certain acts, which is wrongful in the eyes of people, you must be able to show that act was done in utter good faith. It was not done as an abuse of power. And this is certainly one of abuse of power. Gentlemen of the press, it's that we should call you and put forward our case and to say that we condemn the use of Yahya Jammeh's playbook in the run of this country. And that is being done every day, when there is no regard for the rule of law. Because regard for the rule of law means really enforcing the law in good faith, not when you use it in order to score points that are either immoral or points that are really intended to stifle and weaken your opponents. So our lawyers have gone to see Mr. Sabali. He's in the best of spirits, because I don't think any of us to break him down can ever succeed. He's in the best of spirits, and his family are also in the best of spirit, because they realize and know that the cause that Mr. Sabali is pursuing in this country is a just cause, and being a just cause, they are in high spirit and they are proud that Mr. Sabali his sufferings is all for the good of this country. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I thank you all for your attention.